Hi everyone, we're seeing a lot of articles in the media in recent days that are talking about a possible recession in the US and Canada and kind of arguing about the fact that we may already be in a recession or that we're heading towards a recession. Obviously, we know during recessions, the borrowing power of the borrowers goes much lower as the banks become more tighter in their lending policies. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Mikael Krichtin, and I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I focus mainly on the Quebec market, mainly in the island Montreal and the surrounding areas like the Laval market for selling apartment buildings. I deal a lot with investors and also with property owners to help them find the buyers to sell their properties. What happens when the market becomes tighter with the lenders as there's fears of a recession or a real recession, then the banks will be even more pickier when they're choosing projects to give the loans on. If you are buying a property or if you currently own a property, you want to make sure that your apartment rents are going to be as high as they possibly can. Now, a lot of people, they make comments saying that, well, hang on a sec, if we're pushing the rents high, then that means we're going to see inflation. We're in this mess because of the fact that landlords were greedy with pushing rents and so forth. But that's not true at all. Remember, the landlords, if they're increasing the rents, what that means is that they're having issues on expenses on their end. Their rates have gone up, their expenses have gone up, their insurance costs have gone up, their gas costs have gone up, and so on. So in order for these landlords or these property owners or the real estate investors, in order for them to be able to keep up and stay up to date with their property gross revenues, expenses, and net income, they have to make sure that their rents are following with the market trends. Obviously, if the market rents were going lower, that means there was no inflation. Then that means they'll be getting market rents anyways. So if you are a real estate investor that's buying properties, or if you already own a property, you need to make sure that your rents are at market rents. Now, how do you decide what market rents are? You can decide what things are going for in this area for comparable apartments. So if you have an apartment that's, let's say, a 2-bedroom unit in a certain area where things rent for, let's say, $1,100, $1,200, and you're buying a property where the going in place rents are maybe $800, $900 today, so you know this property has a good 15, 20, 30% potential in the rents for you to be able to do the renovations and increase the rents to market levels. Now remember, tenants, they can be looking at many apartments before they rent an apartment. So if a tenant comes and looks at your building, looks at your apartment, and realizes that, hang on a sec, these guys are asking $1,200, meanwhile, they've done no renovations, the units need to work, they're not in great shape, I'm not going to pay this because I can rent for $1,200 much better apartments. So if your apartment rents are worth $1,000 because of the quality of what you're giving for services, then make sure you ask $1,000. Tenants are not fools. They're going to be going to look at least 4, 5, 6 apartments to pick one that can be good enough for them to rent. So as a real estate investor and as a property owner, really your focus has to be the bottom line. Make sure your rents are going to be as high as possible, especially in this market, because if your rents are not keeping pace with the market, then what's going to happen is that if you decide to buy a property, or if you have bought a property and that you're not really optimizing it, or as a real estate owner, if you own a property and if you have not brought your rents at market rents or close to it, then the borrowers are going to have a hard time buying your property because they won't be able to get proper financing for this property, especially today in this market where lenders are going to be more pickier in the project that they be financing. So again, to summarize, focus on the bottom line, focus on your rents, do whatever you have to do to make sure your apartments are at market rents or close to it. Spend the money, inject the money into the properties, inject the money into the apartments, and make sure you keep pace with the market. If you fall behind on the market rents, then it's guaranteed your property value will not be advancing at the same pace as the market